What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different, guys, where I talk about what really got me to a successful point in business. And, let's take it way back before print on demand, and let's take it to my very first business, which was a white label clothing company. I've gotten a lot of questions about people asking me like my routine or how I set this up or how I do things to become successful. And honestly, this might be the best story out there, the best video out there to actually help you guys. This is not going to be an entertaining story. I'm just going to give you guys the raw truth. And I'm just going to be straightforward and honest with you guys as I look through some of these amazing art on Redbubble. And it all started, like I said, back in the first year of college. It actually took a few months before college, but the first year of college, within the first 2 weeks, I knew if the business, if the job world, the job market is going to be anything like how professors treated students, how the college life was like, I wanted no part of it. And that's when I started to pursue business. But just like anybody, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no experience. I had no knowledge. I didn't know where to start. And slowly I got deeper and deeper into it. But there was an inflection point where it stopped becoming a hobby. It stopped becoming something for, fun. It stopped becoming a pastime. And it became something that was necessary. It became something that I really needed in order to almost survive in my mind. And because it was do or die. That's what it was for the business. There was no other opportunity. There was no other choice. There was no other path to success. That was the only path. And that was in my mind. And I had bottled this information up. I hadn't told my dad. I hadn't told my sister. I hadn't told really anybody. And I was just working on the business. But I wasn't succeeding. And I'm going to tell you guys what really kicked me into high gear was, at the time, guys, when I was growing up, I was in a Sunday school. I was in church. And, in the church, everybody in their own age group, you hang out with your own age group. And my age group was a bunch of other, 18-year-old, 17-year-old guys just like me. And every single one of those guys, they had a future planned out for them. They had a path. They were going to be doctors. They were going to be therapists. They were going to be engineers. They were going to be something successful. They were going to be something that their parents could be proud of. And for me, I didn't have that because I wanted to become, at first, my parents told me that I wanted to become a physical therapist. That's what my parents told me. Now, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I just said, okay, that's what I want to be because that's what you say. I didn't know anything about the real world. I didn't know anything about business. I didn't know anything about income. I didn't know anything about that world. And so when I decided to move forward into college, obviously it's not what I wanted to do. I realized that if I don't make this business thing work out, I'm going to be a failure. That I'm going to be a loser. I'm going to have nothing to my name. I'm in front of my friends. I'm going to be the guy that they take pity on. And that is exactly what I didn't want to be. It was the fear, guys, of failure. That is what truly pushed me. And I'll just be 100% honest with you. Yes, I had love for the game of business. Yes, I was motivated and inspired by business. But one of the things that really scared me was the fear of failure. And the fear of, graduating with no success in college. When I say success, I'm talking about business success. I'm not talking about like success from an academic standpoint. That was my true fear. Because if I had nothing to I guess you could say, not show off, but to present myself with, I felt like I wasn't worthy. I felt like I wasn't, I guess you could say, a good person in a way. And to be honest, the way I judge myself now is I try to dissociate with that a little bit and try to, separate myself. But the truth is that I completely feel the exact same way since I was younger, for myself at least. If you ask me, hey, what is the characteristics that make up a good person? Today, I won't tell you something related to business or anything like that. I'll say a good person does X, Y, Z, is charitable, is generous, is, caring for others, things like that. But at the time, when I thought of a good person, I thought of a successful person. I thought of somebody who, overcame the odds, who had some a roadblock in their life and overcame it. The fear that I wouldn't be able to overcome that was the thing that drove me, because I didn't want to be in that position where I would be hanging around the group of guys and everybody says, "Well, what are you? What are you?" And everybody says, "I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, I'm a therapist, I'm a psychologist." All these are very, very respectable opportunities, but then one person, which was me, says, "Oh, I'm still unemployed. I'm still working on my dream, or I'm still this, I'm still that." And I understand that there are some people through that phase, and that's perfectly fine. But at the time, that's what got me really scared. And I'll be honest with you guys, in our culture, in the culture that I was in at the church, with our nationality and things like that, it was a shame to be, taking a little more time. It was a shame to, figure things out. That's just the way the nationality, the culture was in my church. People from overseas can attest to what I'm saying. In America, we give a lot of leeway, to our young folk. We give a lot of leeway, and we say, take your time, figure things out. Which is, honestly, I wish it was really promoted a little bit more, because I feel like it was just so rushed, going from high school to college to all of a sudden knowing what you want to do and sticking by it. Maybe that's why so many people are just truly unsatisfied with the job that they're doing, because they were just so rushed into the process. Had they had more time to figure things out when they were younger and just see what kind of job they wanted to do, or something like that, maybe less people would be angry or disgruntled about the job that they have to go to every day. Do you guys know that majority of the heart attacks happen on either Sunday night or Monday morning? And that's because people are getting ready to go to their job. The psychology of just even going to the workplace hurts people so much that they end up with a heart attack. I didn't know these things. And like I said, the fear of not adding up, not measuring up in front of my peer group was one of the things that really, really pushed me. Because deep inside of me, deep in my heart, I knew that truly this college thing wasn't for me. And I wasn't going to be able to play this facade much longer. I wasn't going to be able to show up to college every day, act like I'm happy to be a student. I wasn't going to be able to do that. And, the deeper and deeper I got into business was the more I pulled out of school. I'll just be honest with you guys. The more I disassociated with school, I was sitting in the classroom, wouldn't be even able to listen to what the teacher was saying, the professor was saying. I'd just be, zoned out on whatever I was doing. I'm not saying that you're a bad person or anything like that if you've been successful in school. I've wanted to get successful in school. I just couldn't do it. I mean, and I know that's not an excuse. I know that truly, if anybody puts their mind to something, they can achieve whatever they put their mind to. But when I say I couldn't do it, my passions weren't there. My heart wasn't there. And I'm not like a heart fancy smancy, emotional type of guy like that. I'm really not. But I couldn't picture my life, the next 40 years of my life, being like the 2 years or the 1 year that I was in college for that time, where I was, very frustrated and very angry about life. Now, don't get me wrong. I did graduate. I got all that done for my dad, and he really wanted me to graduate. He said, no matter what, you have to graduate. I don't care if you make $30 million. I don't care. You have to graduate. And it was actually my mother's dying wish, believe it or not. When she passed away, she said, listen, almost as if she knew that I didn't want to go to school, but she said, you have to go to school. You have to finish school. And I didn't even bring up the conversation. The point is that's truly, guys, what pushed me forward. It was the fear. It was the fear. And I think we all have to be, and it doesn't have to be the fear of going to school for you guys. It could be something else. But it has to be something that's a little bit greater than just, I purely just want to make money online. Like, it has to be something, maybe. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, guys. I really don't know. I'm coming from the perspective of one person. I didn't really have too many people that I could talk to this about, or too many people that can understand, other than you guys, really. I mean, in my daily life, I've met some, people that, were super successful, but I didn't I didn't really pry. I didn't really talk to them about things like this because we didn't know each other on that level. And if we had a certain relationship, it wouldn't be a type of relationship where we talk deep conversations. But between me and you, the reality is that I was that fear, that deep fear of just not adding up, not measuring up in front of the peer group, was one of the things that really pushed me forward. And I would think of like how embarrassed would I be in front of my peer group. And I'll be honest, it's only because of the societal pressures that are in our society, in that church. You see young kids successful. There's really no excuses for, mental health or anything like that in our church group. We don't have that. That doesn't exist. They look at you like you're like a soft person if you talk about depression or you talk about something like that. It doesn't exist. And this is why a lot of people, and I'm just going to be 100% honest, they flee from their families. They run away from their families. They desert their families in this kind of judgment. It's a very judgmental group of people. And that's kind of one of the things that I feel like hold back the community because it is so judgmental. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to complain. I'm not here to say anything. But that was just my reality. And I think for some people, they might have a greater calling. Maybe it's they have a child on the way and they need to take care of that child. And maybe print on demand is the thing that, motivates them to get out. Or maybe it's not print on demand. Maybe it's something else. Or, maybe it's not a child. Maybe it's, they just don't want to go to school anymore. They want to do something to prove to their parents, or maybe they just simply want to do it just to take care of themselves, just to live a better quality of life and do something that they truly enjoy. Whatever that calling is, it's going to affect you on a different level, right? For me, that message, that thing in my heart was, that fear was a very deep calling. It was a very deep push to move forward. And I wouldn't know if you call that a calling, but it was definitely something that invoked a calling for me. It was something that motivated me to move forward into that dream of becoming self-employed. And guys, I wasn't dreaming of, and I'll be 100% honest with you guys, I wasn't dreaming of the Lamborghinis, the Ferraris. I wasn't dreaming of the mansions and all the things like that. I was dreaming and I wanted to just be self-employed. I wanted to be able to live my life freely, live a life of financial freedom. When I say financial freedom, I'm not talking about $60 million in the bank and never have to work. I'm talking about where I could wake up every day at my own time, start working on my business at my own time, and go to sleep on my own time without having to have a boss force me around or boss me around. That's really what I meant by my own time. And that's what I mean by financial freedom. And I could, if I don't want to work that day, I don't have to work that day. If I want to work that day, I work that day. But the truth is, I enjoy working, so I'm always going to be working anyway. But hopefully you guys can see where I'm coming from with this. You know what I'm saying? So I figured I'd just put that out there and talk about this because, maybe there's somebody else battling with the same issue. Now, am I saying that if you don't have one of those doctor jobs, engineering jobs, that you're a bad person? Absolutely not. Like I said, I wish that the church didn't have that societal norm and didn't warp my thinking. Because I look at it now as I get older, and, the labor jobs, those are amazing jobs. Benefits, insurance, amazing income, take care of a family. They're beautiful things about those jobs, and those are some really hardworking people, especially, the blue-collar folk. Any kind of job, to be 100% honest, that is not hurting anybody is a respectable position. It's a respectable job. Anybody who's trying out there to push forward, I don't care if you're making sandals on a street corner and trying to sell them. It's a respectable position. It's better than harming somebody else or, selling the you-know-what that you shouldn't be selling that will put you in jail. I think that's the most important thing. And like I said, even though it was a church group and even though the church group was all about, Jesus and all this and the Bible, it was very judgmental for a church group. And I'm sure it's not just in our church, but in so many other churches. It's all based on pride. I'll be 100% honest with you. When parents want their kid to be a doctor or an engineer, it's because they want to be prideful in front of their peer group as the parents and say, my kid is a doctor, my kid is an engineer, my kid is this, my kid is that, as if that raises their ego, as if it raises their whatever you want to call it, their you guys know what I'm saying. I don't know what the word is for it, but it raises their self-esteem. That's what I was looking for. Their self-esteem. And yeah, I understand it could, but that's completely opposite of a biblical teaching, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So, at the end of the day, at least I don't think that God cares what your job is as long as it's a respectable position. When I say respectable, I'm saying that you're not killing anybody, you're not harming anybody, you're not selling drugs, you're not doing things that are illegal or anything like that. That's the thing that I don't think God is going to be like, yeah, you worked as a steel worker and you're going to go to hell for being a steel worker, but you're going to go to heaven for being a doctor. I don't think that's the case in any sort of way. And there was no indication of that, in the Bible. In fact, Jesus was a carpenter. And I know this is a quick biblical lesson, but, I don't think it really matters what you work as long as it's something respectable. But I didn't have that outlook because of the warped mentality that I had because of the society that I was in. And the fear of embarrassment, the fear of failure, the fear of not adding up, the fear of measuring up was one of the really deeper callings that really kind of lit a fire under me to keep going, keep pushing when some moments were hard. And I just figured I'd share that. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. And peace out. Bye.